The human body is a traitor. You can rehearse your alibi 1,000 times. You can scrub the crime scene until it sparkles. You can even pass a polygraph if you're a pathological enough liar. But you cannot silence your own biology. Evolution wired us to survive, not to lie. When the stakes are life in prison, the brain goes into overdrive and the body begins to leak. A twitch of the lip, a sudden itch on the nose, a foot pointing towards the door. These are not random movements, they are confessions. Today, we are breaking down 3 specific interrogations where the suspect didn't say a word about their guilt, but their body screamed it. We have the arrogant narcissist who thought he was smarter than the cops, the master manipulator who spun a web of lies so complex she got lost in it, and the void, a suspect so terrifyingly still you'll forget to breathe. By the end of this video, you won't just watch these clips, you'll be able to spot the exact moment the truth slipped out. But before we get to the man who didn't blink for an hour, we have to talk about the Duping Delight. Case number 1. The grieving husband, or at least the man playing the role of one. Let's call him Marcus. When police arrived at the suburban home in Ohio, Marcus was frantic. His wife was missing. The house was empty. There were no signs of forced entry, just a cold cup of coffee on the counter. Standard procedure dictates you interview the spouse first, not as a suspect, but as a witness. But watch what happens the moment Marcus steps into the interview room. Most innocent people in this situation are in a state of chaotic distress. They pace, they cry, they demand answers. They ask, "Where is she?" Marcus does none of that. He sits down. He adjusts his shirt. He looks comfortable. This is our first red flag, something FBI profilers call the baseline. To spot a lie, you first need to know what the person looks like when they are telling the truth. But Marcus jumps straight into a performance. Watch his hands. As the detective asks him about the last time he saw his wife, Marcus starts using what we call illustrators. These are hand gestures that emphasize speech. Truthful people use them spontaneously. They happen before or during the words. But Marcus, his gestures are milliseconds late. He says, "I was so worried," and then he clutches his chest. It's a mechanical delay. His brain is writing the script, his mouth is speaking the lines, and his body is lagging behind trying to act out the emotion. It's bad acting. But the real betrayal happens at the 18-minute mark. The detective drops a piece of false evidence. He says, "Neighbors reported seeing a strange van in the driveway." This is a trap. The police know there was no van. If Marcus is innocent, he should be confused. He should say, "What van? I didn't see a van." But look at his face. Do you see that? It lasts less than a second. The corner of his mouth twitches upward, a flash of a smile. That is duping delight. It's the involuntary pleasure a liar feels when they think their lie has been believed. Marcus thinks they bought it. They think it was a stranger. His brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine and his facial muscles react before he can stop them. He suppresses it instantly, pulling his face back into a mask of concern, but the camera caught it. He is literally happy that his wife might have been kidnapped because it fits his narrative. Throughout the next hour, Marcus continues to leak. He engages in grooming behaviors. He picks lint off his trousers. He checks his fingernails. These are self-soothing gestures designed to lower his heart rate. An innocent man whose wife is missing doesn't care about lint. He cares about survival. The cognitive load of maintaining the lie is so heavy that Marcus physically retreats. He crosses his arms, creating a barrier between him and the detective. He crosses his legs. He is making himself smaller, subconsciously trying to hide. The breakdown comes when the detective changes strategy. He stops asking questions and starts making statements. He moves into his personal space. This is the invasion technique. Watch Marcus's feet. For the last hour, they were planted flat. Now, the shift. Both feet turn towards the door. It's the flight response. His limbic system is screaming run, and his feet are obeying. His torso is still facing the cop, but his lower body is already leaving the room. Let that sink in. You can lie with your face. It's hard to lie with your feet. Marcus was charged 2 days later. His body confessed long before he signed the papers. But Marcus was an amateur. He was arrogant. Our next subject is far more dangerous because she believes her own lies. Case number 2. Architect. Jennifer isn't a suspect, she's the victim. According to her, 3 masked men broke into her apartment, tied her up, and robbed the place. She's sitting in the interrogation room, wrapped in a blanket, trembling. On the surface, this looks like pure trauma. But let's look closer. Let's look at the timeline of emotion.
True emotion is messy. It comes in waves. You cry, you recover, you get angry, you cry again. Jennifer's emotions are synchronized. Watch closely when the detective asks her to describe the gun. She pauses. Her eyes move up and to the right. In neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, this is often associated with visual construction. She isn't remembering an image, she is creating one. If she were remembering, her eyes would likely dart to the left, accessing memory. But she's painting a picture in her mind. What would a gun look like? Then comes the audio-visual disconnect. She describes being terrified, screaming for her life. But look at her forehead. It's smooth. When we feel genuine fear or distress, the eyebrows pull together and up, creating wrinkles in the center of the forehead. Darwin called this the grief muscle. It is incredibly hard to fake. Jennifer is sobbing, making loud crying noises, covering her face with her hands, which hides the lack of tears, by the way. But her forehead is as smooth as glass. Her vocal cords are acting sad, but her face is bored. Here is where it gets truly bizarre. The anchoring effect. Throughout the interview, Jennifer keeps returning to one specific detail, the fact that she unlocked the door for the pizza delivery guy earlier that night. She mentions it 4 times. I unlocked the door, she says. I must have left it unlocked. Why is she obsessed with the door? Because it's the only truth she has. Liars use truth as an anchor. She did unlock the door. She clings to that fact because the rest of her story is a fabrication. She's trying to sell the negligence theory to avoid the conspiracy theory. The detective catches it. He asks, "So they just walked in?" Jennifer nods, and then she shrugs. A single shoulder shrug. This is a classic leak. A shrug contradicts a definitive statement. She says yes, but her body says, "I don't know," or "I don't believe what I'm saying." It's a lack of commitment to her own lie. But the ultimate betrayal happens when they leave her alone in the room. This is the release. When the detective leaves, the performance should drop, but the distress should remain. Instead, Jennifer stops crying instantly. She checks her reflection in the interrogation glass. She fixes her hair. She looks bored. The mask didn't just slip, she took it off and put it on the table. She wasn't a victim of a robbery, she was the organizer, and her boredom gave her away. We've seen the arrogant, we've seen the actor. Now we descend into something else entirely. Case number 3, the void. This interrogation is legendary in law enforcement circles, not because of what happens, but because of what doesn't happen. The suspect is Stephen, a law graduate, high IQ, suspected of a brutal crime against a neighbor. He sits in the chair, and he stays there. For 2 hours, Stephen does not move. I don't mean he sits effectively still, I mean he is statue still. Most people shift their weight every few minutes. We scratch our nose, we cross our legs, we look around. Stephen is locked in a freeze response. In the wild, when an animal knows it cannot fight and cannot flee, it freezes, it plays dead. It hopes the predator will lose interest. Stephen is playing dead. Look at his eyes. He barely blinks. The average human blinks 15 to 20 times a minute. Under stress, that usually doubles. Stephen is blinking maybe once every 2 minutes. This is the reptilian stare. It's a sign of intense, hyper-focused cognitive control. He is allocating 100% of his brain power to monitoring the situation, shutting down non-essential motor functions. He isn't listening to the questions, he is analyzing the threat level. The detectives try everything. They yell, they whisper, they show him photos. Nothing. He is a wall. But then, the breakthrough. The detective drops the bomb. He says, casually,
"We found the body, Stephen." Watch Stephen's throat. Up until this moment, he has been made of stone. But when he hears "we found the body," there is a single violent convulsion in his neck, a hard swallow, the Adam's apple jumps. This is the limbic system reacting to a catastrophic threat. The brain has just received fatal information. Game over. The mouth goes dry instantly, the cottonmouth effect, forcing a swallow. And then the collapse. He doesn't cry, he doesn't confess, but his body goes limp. His shoulders drop about 2 inches. It's subtle, but it's there. The tension that was holding him upright, the artificial rigor mortis he was maintaining, evaporates. He leans back. He looks at the floor. The energy leaves the room. That swallow was the confession. That shoulder drop was the guilty plea. He never said, "I did it." He didn't have to. The statue crumbled from the inside out.
So what did we learn today? We learned that the body is a terrible co-conspirator. Marcus showed us Duping Delight, that arrogant smirk. Jennifer showed us the disconnect, and Stephen showed us the freeze. You are going to see these signs everywhere now. You'll see the shoulder shrug when your friend cancels plans. You'll see the delayed gestures when a politician makes a promise. You'll see the feet pointing towards the door when your date wants to leave. You have the codes now. The question is, what will you do with them? Detectives train for years to spot these micro-expressions, but you don't need a badge to read the truth. You just need to know where to look. And if you ever find yourself in an interrogation room, well, maybe just ask for a lawyer, because your body, it's already snitching on you. If you want to dive deeper into the dark psychology of the criminal mind, hit that subscribe button. We are uploading a deep dive into the Chris Watts porch interview next week, and you do not want to miss that analysis. But wait, one more thing. Next time you're in a high-stakes conversation, watch the neck, specifically the little dimple at the base of the throat. When people feel threatened, they instinctively cover this spot to protect their jugular. It's called the neck shield. If you see someone do this, you know they are feeling vulnerable, no matter how confident they sound. Thanks for watching. Keep your eyes open.